a 2D game. So there are still some limitations in regards to creating a 2D game in Unity, okay, but it has already improved a lot since maybe 1 year ago, okay, with all these sprites and 2D additions to Unity. Okay, so I assume that you are curious in how to split your scripts or components depending on whichever term you prefer. So I would say that there is no right or wrong way to do so. Okay, what matters is that you are comfortable with it, and most importantly, it should allow you to progress faster since you are comfortable with it. So in my situation, what I do is I usually have a bunch of manager scripts, and each manager has a specific role. Okay, for example, the sound manager is in charge of playing the background music, the sound effects. Okay, the animation manager is in charge of playing animations, or rather specific animations like fading in, fading out, blinking, scaling. There's also, for example, the data manager, which I use to manage the saving and loading of the save game file. So each manager script has a specific role that it does, which is why you are looking at quite a number of them. So in this way, I am able to at least reduce the complication or the complexity in each manager. Okay, there are other scripts or components in the game that are not managers, okay, but they are just usually objects that you would want to reuse over and over again. So in that way, you will not waste system resources in creating and destroying them over and over again. So what I do is that I create it before I run the game so that it stays persistent. So for example, some labels are created and reused over and over again, but when you do not need them, okay, you can just move them off screen and hide them. Okay, for example, if you need them right smack in the center, you can change their X and Y to 0 and 0. Okay, but if you do not need them for the moment, you can change their coordinates to maybe -50, -50. Okay, basically just hiding it. Okay, so it depends on your preference as well. Some people prefer to have multiple scenes Okay, for example, maybe a scene for when the game starts and a scene for the game itself. Okay, but for me, I just have one single scene which changes by moving things around and hiding or showing things depending on which state of the game you are in. Okay, in a sense that might seem more, it might sound more complicated, but it allows me to save resources and everything is accessible since we only have one single scene. Okay, so that is a rather long-winded answer, but yeah, that's my answer. Hey, likewise, man. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, it's also a learning journey for me. So, well, that's what it means to live. Okay, is to learn and improve daily. Okay, so to say good night in Japanese, okay, you can say oyasumi. Okay, you type it like this. Okay, o ya su mi. Okay, there is a longer form of it, which is oyasumi nasai. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, the nasai at the back is just a way of making it sound more polite. Okay, because in Japanese, okay, your way of speaking might change slightly depending on who you are speaking to. Okay, especially if you are speaking to an elderly or someone who is older than you, or someone who is in a senior position than you. So it is kind of is a cultural thing where they have this emphasis on seniority. So the language is also one part of it. Okay, so to say thank you, okay, you can just say arigatou gozaimasu. Okay, I know it's rather long, so let me type it out for you. Okay, let me use TextMate instead. Okay, so okay, this is the more polite way of saying thank you. Okay, you can just say arigato gozaimasu, which is the more polite way of saying thank you. Okay, if you were to say thank you to your friends who you are already comfortable with, you can maybe go with the more casual form, which is just the first part of it, which is just arigato. Oh, okay. Okay, I hope you can see this. Okay, this is just thank you in polite form. Okay, you are welcome. Oh, by the way, Tokyo is a good place to live in. Okay, but you might need to get used to the train map. Okay, since there are many lines and many stations, it's like a spider web. So if you want to live in Tokyo, okay, getting used to the train map is a must, I guess. Okay, it might take some time getting used to, but it will help out in the long run. Okay, oyasumi nasai. Have a good night rest. Hey, thanks for the follow too. I hope that you like the dancing star, which is the notification that shows whenever someone follows the channel. Okay, so right now, okay, we are progressing with adding the counter skill for Asuka. So in order to keep track of all of the enemy projectiles and where they are, we need to get the enemy manager. Okay, from the registry. Okay, but we will only do so if we are using Asuka, which what this line does, it identifies that we are using Asuka's counter skill. Okay, so over here we will go through all of the enemy attacks and check if any one of them is within the counters, or rather if any one of them is overlapping the counter. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so we will do that using a loop, which will help us go through all of the enemy attacks. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so while this doesn't seem to be the most interesting part of game development, okay, it is one of the crucial parts of it. So without all of this, okay, the special skill will not work. Okay, so it is a must that we have to do. Okay, so the special skills of each and every character doesn't just work like that. Okay, we have to add the sound effects, add the visuals, okay, the sprites, the images, okay, create the animations, and also write the script so that it will work the way we want it. So there are a lot of things to do, and there are a lot of angles to consider whenever we want to add something new to the game or to any type of games. So if okay, so if this enemy attack Order this enemy projectile is within the counter's boundaries. Okay, we will make it go in the reverse direction. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, but in order for it to go in the reverse direction, we need to know how much force was applied to it in the first place. Okay, if that sounds a bit complicated, think of it as if you use your arm to throw a ball with maybe a little bit of force. So in order for someone, okay, so now imagine the ball is traveling in mid-air because you threw it. So if someone were to want to hit the ball in order to, or if someone were to want to use a baseball to hit the ball back at you, okay, he or she would have to apply a greater force so that it will overcome the ball, okay, in its current direction. Okay, so we need to know what, or rather how much force was applied so that we can make it go in reverse. So over here, okay, we'll add a new applied force to save the amount of force that was applied. So let's go back to the enemy script. Okay, so over here, okay, the applied interesting. Okay, applied force. key, we save the force applied. Okay, and for each enemy attack, if you are playing as Asuka, since Asuka is the only character with the counter skill, we will save this enemy attack and add it to the enemy attacks array list, which is what we use to keep track of all the enemy attacks.